If you build your car in the United States, there's no tariff, Trump declared yesterday. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. The devastating truth is that almost no cars are 100% American-made, with approximately half of all parts coming from abroad, meaning virtually every vehicle is about to get much more expensive. This isn't just another political story, it's about to hit your family's finances directly. Economic experts are warning of catastrophic job losses, up to 400,000 across North America if Canada and Mexico fight back with their own tariffs. Vehicle production could plummet by 30%, causing car prices to surge by thousands. The integrated auto manufacturing system built over decades is now hanging by a thread.
And what we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff. We start off with a 2.5% base, which is what we were at, and we go to 25%, and you're going to see prices going down, but it's going to go down specifically because they're going to buy what we're doing, incentivizing companies to, and even countries, but companies to come into America and build. We're trying to get approved, if we can. If you borrow money to buy a car, you're allowed to deduct interest payments for purposes of income tax, but only if the car is made in America. So if the car is made in America, you get a loan, you can deduct the interest. That's a big saving.
President, on the car tariffs, how do you assure that a car coming into the country is fully built? Could an automaker in Germany say, leave the tire?
Not yet have the executive order, and so there are different variants of the 25% announcement that was made today. One would be that it is only on the, this is still significant to be absolutely clear, but on the part component of a car. Another would be that it's on the entire vehicle. We await the executive order for that clarity. But to be absolutely clear, even in the more, quote, restricted version of this, it is a significant action.
The workers in the auto sector. You're afraid right now. You're anxious. You wonder how you're going to pay your mortgage or put food on the table. Canada will be there for you. We will be there for you. We will ensure that you have income replacement to put food on the table and money in your bank account.
We have two options here. We either roll over as a country and he runs us over 15 times and gets what he wants, or we feel a little bit of pain and we fight like we've never fought before. I prefer the latter. I believe in fighting, and we'll have a big impact on the American people.
The attack on so many workers, and we know that Trump is an arsonist. He's literally burning down his own country's jobs and economy and ours as well. And we got to stand up and fight back. Well, what's happened right now is heartbreaking. Like the idea that hundreds of thousands of workers right now are looking at what's just been announced and are wondering, will I lose my job? The prediction is, and some of the estimates are, these are literally hundreds of thousands of jobs that could be impacted in the automotive sector and the supporting sectors around it. There's a lot of jobs at stake right now. So first and foremost, we got to protect these workers, and we've got to fight back like hell to protect these jobs.
Trump's tariff bomb, the shocking details that will hit your wallet. Trump's tariff bomb has just detonated, and the fallout will hit your wallet harder than most Americans or Canadians realize. The 25% tariff announcement wasn't just unexpected, it was carefully calculated to sound patriotic while hiding a devastating economic reality that affects virtually everyone who plans to buy a vehicle. Here's what Trump conveniently left out of his announcement. There's no such thing as a 100% American-made car anymore. The dirty secret of the auto industry? Approximately half of all components in so-called American-made vehicles come from foreign countries. That Made in USA label? It's hiding a global supply chain that's about to be completely upended. But that's not even the most shocking part. These tariffs won't just hit imported vehicles, they'll slam the entire industry with a brutal double whammy. The 25% tax applies not just to finished vehicles crossing the border, but to individual parts as well. This means that even cars assembled in American factories will see dramatic price increases because their components come from international suppliers. The economic bloodbath is coming faster than you think. Industry insiders warn these price hikes won't take months or years to materialize. They could hit consumers within weeks of the tariffs taking effect. This isn't some distant economic theory, it's an immediate financial threat to anyone planning to buy a vehicle. How bad will it get? Brace yourself. Experts are projecting vehicle costs will skyrocket between $3,500 and $12,000 per vehicle. This isn't just for luxury imports. We're talking about your everyday Chevrolet Silverado and Ford Mustang seeing massive price increases because they depend on parts sourced from abroad. The American consumer is about to get hammered by the very policy that was supposedly designed to help them. Remember Trump's constant promises to lower prices for American consumers? These tariffs do exactly the opposite. The math simply doesn't add up. When you slap a 25% tax on half the components in a vehicle, those costs get passed directly to buyers. There's no economic magic that makes these expenses disappear. The Canadian auto industry is staring down at complete devastation. With a staggering 86% of Canadian-made vehicles exported to the United States, these tariffs threaten to collapse an entire manufacturing sector overnight. The integrated supply chains built over decades can't simply be rewired in a matter of months. They represent billions in infrastructure investment and hundreds of thousands of specialized jobs. Think about the ripple effects. When Canadian assembly plants are forced to cut production or shut down entirely, American parts suppliers lose their customers. When vehicle prices spike, dealerships sell fewer cars. When manufacturing jobs disappear in border communities, local economies collapse. This isn't just bad policy, it's economic sabotage that hurts workers on both sides of the border. The most painful irony? These tariffs won't even achieve their stated goal of bringing manufacturing back to America. Modern auto production isn't like it was in the 1950s. It's a sophisticated global network that can't be dismantled without catastrophic consequences. Forcing this kind of disruption doesn't create jobs, it destroys them across the entire supply chain. Canadian automakers face an impossible situation. Either absorb massive cost increases that make their operations unsustainable, or pass those costs to consumers and watch sales plummet. There's no winning strategy when your largest export market suddenly imposes a 25% tax on everything you produce. Quick pause. What do you think about Trump's new 25% auto tariff? Will it help American workers, or is it a huge mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. Also, if you're enjoying the video, hitting that like button and subscribing really helps the channel grow and keeps these videos coming your way. Thanks so much. Now let's dive back in. Canada's fierce response. Carney's declaration of economic war. As Canadian automakers stare into the abyss, Prime Minister Mark Carney calls Trump's tariffs a direct attack on Canadian workers. Behind this unprecedented language lies a shocking truth. Canada has developed retaliatory measures for this moment, with $65 billion worth of economic weapons ready to deploy. Make no mistake, this isn't some diplomatic disagreement between friendly neighbors. This is Carney declaring economic war. The Prime Minister's statement wasn't just tough talk, it was a battle cry. We will defend our workers, we will defend our companies, we will defend our country, and we will defend it together. These aren't the measured, polite words Canadians typically use with their closest ally. This is the language of conflict. Behind closed doors in Ottawa, emergency war councils are already assembling. What most Americans don't realize is that Canadian officials have been quietly preparing for this exact scenario. Even during the election transition period, Carney confirmed that mechanisms for retaliatory tariffs are already in place. This wasn't a surprise to Canada's leadership. They've been anticipating Trump's move and have prepared their counterstrike. The arsenal at Canada's disposal is staggering. Ontario Premier Doug Ford dropped a bombshell when he revealed that Canada has $65 billion worth of tariffs it could impose on American goods. Think about that for a moment. $65 billion in economic pain targeted directly at American businesses, workers, and consumers. Ford didn't mince words about the strategy either, stating that Canada must maximize pain for Americans while minimizing it for Canadians. But Ford's most explosive comment reveals just how desperate the situation has become. We either roll over as a country and he runs us over 15 times and gets what he wants, or we feel a little bit of pain and we fight like we've never fought before. I prefer the latter. This isn't the language of diplomacy, it's the language of economic warfare. Carney now faces an impossible political dilemma. If he doesn't respond forcefully, he appears weak during a critical election period when Canadians are demanding protection. But if he escalates with massive retaliatory tariffs, he risks triggering a full-blown trade war that could devastate both economies. Either way, his political future hangs in the balance with every decision. The fear rippling through Canada's automotive heartland is palpable. In Windsor, Oshawa, and other manufacturing hubs across Ontario, workers face the terrifying prospect of mass layoffs. Union representatives are demanding immediate government protection, knowing their members' livelihoods could vanish overnight if these tariffs remain in place. The psychological impact alone is devastating communities that have already weathered decades of manufacturing uncertainty. What makes this particularly catastrophic for Canada is the concentration of auto manufacturing in Ontario's industrial corridor. This isn't just about cars, it's about entire communities built around these plants. Restaurants, retail stores, service businesses all depend on the economic ecosystem that automotive manufacturing creates. When those plants suffer, entire towns collapse. The most alarming aspect of this crisis is how Canada's retaliatory options could trigger a dangerous escalation. Beyond tariffs on American goods, Canada supplies 52% of America's imported natural gas and critical electricity to northern states. While cutting these supplies would be a nuclear option, the mere possibility shows how quickly this dispute could spiral into unprecedented territory. Carney wasn't engaging in political theatre when he called this a direct attack on Canadian workers. The integrated supply chains developed over decades mean Canadian parts and vehicles flow constantly across the border. With Trump's tariff wall now blocking that vital economic artery, the entire Canadian automotive sector faces an existential threat. Tens of thousands of specialized manufacturing jobs hang in the balance, with communities across Ontario bracing for a devastating economic fallout. The economic nightmare, why this could backfire spectacularly. The border may separate our countries, but it doesn't separate our auto industries. What Wall Street insiders are desperately trying to warn Trump about, but his inner circle seems to be ignoring, is that North America's automotive sector operates as one integrated system. And now, that system is on the verge of collapse. Economic experts are sounding the alarm with a devastating prediction. Up to 400,000 North American jobs could vanish if this trade war escalates, and the majority of those pink slips will land in American mailboxes. This isn't some distant economic threat, it's a job-killing catastrophe brewing right under Trump's nose. The numbers from Cox Automotive are sending shockwaves through the industry. Their chief economist, Jonathan Smoke, just dropped a bombshell prediction that vehicle production could plummet by 30%. That's 20,000 fewer vehicles rolling off assembly lines daily. Let that sink in for a moment. But here's where this plan reveals its stunning short-sightedness. American parts manufacturers shipped $35.8 billion worth of auto parts to Mexico and $28.4 billion to Canada last year. Those numbers represent thousands of American factories humming with activity across the Rust Belt. What happens when Canadian and Mexican assembly plants shut down due to the tariff wall Trump just built? The economic devastation would spread like wildfire through America's manufacturing heartland. While Trump stands at rallies promising to protect American jobs, his policies are about to obliterate them. It's a betrayal that the 550,000 Americans employed in auto parts manufacturing will feel most acutely when their factories start going silent. Industry insiders know a secret that Trump seems oblivious to. A single American-made component might cross the border up to 7 times during manufacturing. With each crossing now subject to a 25% tax. The economics of North American auto manufacturing becomes completely unworkable overnight. It's like throwing sand into a finely tuned machine and expecting it to run better. The market reaction tells the real story of what financial experts think about these tariffs. Auto stocks went into freefall the moment Trump made his announcement. Ford's shares tumbled 3.7%, while General Motors took an even more brutal 7.3% nosedive. Investors aren't buying what Trump is selling. They're frantically selling instead, recognizing the economic carnage these tariffs will unleash. But there's an even more sinister twist to this story that has economic experts terrified. While Trump claims to be getting tough on foreign competition, these tariffs could actually hand China a massive victory. By undermining North American manufacturing integration, Trump is inadvertently creating a manufacturing vacuum that Chinese producers are perfectly positioned to fill. All the painful progress in reshoring supply chains away from Chinese manufacturing could be wiped out in one misguided policy move. The irony is that the blue-collar workers in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania that Trump claims to champion will bear the heaviest burden. When Canadian and Mexican assembly plants reduce production or close, those parts' exports will evaporate, and so will the American jobs that depend on them. Does Trump genuinely not understand how modern automotive manufacturing works? Or is he willing to sacrifice hundreds of thousands of American jobs for a policy that sounds good in campaign speeches but crumbles under economic scrutiny? Either possibility should terrify American workers. The experts couldn't be clearer. This tariff plan won't bring manufacturing back to America. It will destroy what's already there. The continental manufacturing ecosystem that took decades to build could be dismantled in weeks, leaving economic devastation in communities that can least afford it. What we're witnessing here isn't just a political chess match. It's the potential collapse of a $680 billion trading relationship that has taken decades to build. The economic integration between the US, Canada, and Mexico supports over 17 million jobs across North America. Jobs that are now hanging by a thread as tariff threats escalate. History has taught us that trade wars create no winners, only casualties. Economic downturns from tariff battles crush ordinary workers while politicians point fingers. The most gut-wrenching part? Manufacturing workers these policies claim to protect will be the first-handed pink slips. With April 2nd looming, we're about to witness the catastrophic human cost. the integrated continental economy could unravel, leaving economic devastation across all three nations. Thank you for watching and staying informed on this critical issue. If you found this breakdown valuable, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications for more updates on stories impacting your world. Be sure to check out our other videos. Until next